So it turns out the guy who made a living running across soccer fields, faking robberies and harassing strangers under the holy name of pranks isn't exactly coping sitting in a jail cell with no AC, surrounded by cockroaches, while trying to cry his way out with a handwritten apology letter like he's in a middle school detention. We're talking about a man who once mocked people for wearing masks,
okay, because you got a COVID mask, you liberal fuck.
Now begging for sympathy in a 97-degree cell. So karma didn't just show up, it hit harder than his last steroid cycle. But it gets worse for Vitaly, as this mainstream Filipino news outlet gave us an update on the Vitaly case. We're talking public apologies, failed bribes, no support from his home country, and charges that could land him in jail for years. So let's start with the desperate Hail Mary. Vitaly wrote a heartfelt letter to Filipino officials, basically saying, "I'm sorry, I'm mentally struggling, can I go home now?" Like, what does Vitaly think this is? Jail or a therapist's office? Anyway, he sent this emotional plea directly to Secretary John Vic Remulla, hoping to trigger some mercy. But the result was a whole lot of nothing. Remulla basically replied with the energy of, "Oh, that's unfortunate," and continued pressing charges without missing a beat. It's like trying to stop a train with the sad emoji. Yeah, the letter didn't even make a dent. You can't prank your way through life and then suddenly expect compassion when it's your turn in the hot seat. Literally, because it's 97 degrees in those cells. So, man struggling to say the least. But here's where things get spicy. Vitaly originally faced theft and unjust vexation. Now, theft was dropped, probably because they realized his real crime was being a walking embarrassment, but unjust vexation, they're going full steam ahead on that one. 3 separate counts, one for each of the security guards he harassed, and the prosecutors didn't mince words either. They said there's reasonable certainty of conviction. Translation, they've got receipts, footage, witnesses, and at this point, probably a group chat roasting him in the office. And remember, this isn't some slap on the wrist situation. These are real charges, real court dates, real consequences. And all from a guy who thought yelling at strangers in broken English was edgy content. But as if the apology letter wasn't cringe enough, Vitaly's legal team allegedly tried to pull a full-on GTA side quest and bribe the security guards. Kind of like, "Hey, sorry I humiliated you in front of the nation, so here's some hush money." Which is a bold move, and by bold I mean stupid. But the guards straight up rejected the offer. No hesitation, they said, "We're not selling our dignity for your influencer pocket change." Honestly, legendary. They stood up for their country while Vitaly tried to treat the situation like it was a YouTube collab gone wrong. And now that bribe attempt only made things worse. Absolute idiots. He basically admitted guilt without realizing it, because this wasn't a smooth out-of-court settlement, it was desperation gift wrapped in bad judgment. But now let's talk about this rising trend among streamers, because the moment they get arrested, suddenly it's all, "I'm mentally unwell." Like Vitaly's rarely pulling a full-on Johnny Somali playbook move. Although, judging by some of their content and behavior, I definitely think some of these streamers have a few screws loose. And while mental health is genuinely important, using it as a human shield after you've built a brand on making people uncomfortable, that ain't it. So when Vitaly tries to say he's mentally suffering in jail, like, yeah, obviously that's the entire point of jail. It's not some spa retreat. You're not meant to be thriving. You're meant to face your actions and learn from them. So the Philippines government saw straight through it. They shut it down instantly because if they let him off the hook, every IRL streamer would be pulling the same card, flying to random countries, breaking law and causing chaos, and then crying mental health like it's a get out of jail free card. So I don't think Vitaly's suffering from any mental health issues, but he's definitely probably suffering from withdrawals.
The thing is, Vitaly is having a really bad time in prison. People are speculating in the prison this may be due to withdrawal, whether that's from drugs or steroids or whatever else, but he is having severe or intense health issues.
And for some of you that may have missed it, here's one of the infamous videos that started this whole mess.
Excuse me, madam. I'm gonna fucking rob you if you keep walking away. I want to give you money. No? Okay. No.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, there's definitely a few screws loose because you don't get to terrify people, then bribe them like you're Santa on probation. That's not a prank, it's emotional blackmail with the debit card. And that's just one clip. Vitaly's got a whole career of this nonsense. From Brazil to the UK to Egypt, he's been pranking people in ways that stopped being funny around 2015. So this wasn't a one-off. This was a pattern and now it's catching up to him. So just like the Philippine government, the internet wasn't letting Vitaly off the hook either. Comment sections became roast battles with people saying stuff like, if he gets released, he'll probably drop a vlog titled How I Survived Jail. And that feeling sad is an immunity from jail time, and then a whole landslide of different comments just full on roasting him. So the public isn't buying it either, because this isn't edgy content. It's just being a menace and getting clowned when the law finally says enough. I mean, even his old fans are struggling to defend him at this point. So now Vitaly's pretty much gone from viral to villain, and people are loving every second of his downfall. And here's the cherry on top, because not even his home country is backing him up. The Russian ambassador stated that Russian citizens must obey local laws, so it's clear they have no interest in helping Vitaly. Now, he's just left sitting there, punished by the country he mocked and ignored by the one he's from. No legal safety net, no influencer privilege, just jail bugs, heat and regret. So now let's talk about what Vitaly's future looks like, because Filipino courts are slow, like cartoon turtle slow. Just getting to trial could take 2 to 3 years, and during that time he's stuck. No camera, no gym, no clout. He's in Camp Bagong Diwa, a detention center for immigration violators and undesirable aliens. That's the actual legal term. You know, you've hit rock bottom when your official title is undesirable. And while he's there, he'll be sleeping shoulder to shoulder with strangers, eating who knows what, and sweating like it's a Bikram yoga class from hell. And the craziest part to this whole story is that you almost couldn't write a better plot twist. The guy who mocked others for views, now getting publicly roasted by presidents, prosecutors, and TikTok commenters. He mocked people for masks, now he's crying in a facility where even air is a luxury. He used to make a joke out of strangers, now he is the joke. The contrast is so dramatic, Netflix should be taking notes. It's giving influencer to inmate realness. And honestly, the internet hasn't eaten this good in weeks. Yeah, boy. But the real lesson here is that this is a wake-up call for all IRL streamers. Because other countries aren't props, cultures aren't playgrounds, and just content isn't a defense. So if you want to mess around in a foreign country, you better be ready to deal with their laws, not just your YouTube analytics. So now, here we are. Vitaly, once the cocky prank king, is now locked away, sweaty, broke, and fully cooked in a Filipino holding cell. Even after attempting fake apologies, mental breakdown, straight up bribes, he's still got absolutely nowhere. So what do you think? Is this justice served, or is it just the first course? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoy the internet finally holding people accountable, you already know what to do.